Welcome back to another episode. Today I want to do a nice semiconductor update on three of the most popular semiconductor stocks. That is going to be AMD, Intel, and Nvidia. I want to say in the past week or so, all three have kind of introduced some new kind of updates, some new press release. So in today's episode, I just want to do a quick overview for investors. And I also want to share my overall thoughts as in the past few days, we have seen a kind of a nice amount of sell-off happening in the tech market. And obviously, we're also seeing it in the semiconductor market. So I want to share my overall thoughts there. So let's take a closer look in today's episode. So like I mentioned, today I really want to take a closer look at popular stocks. Let's start off with AMD. AMD did seem to break below the $100 price point. This is, to me, when AMD starts to look very, very attractive. Right now, we can see year to date, the stock is up roughly 50%, but in the past 5 days, the stock is down roughly 4.5%, sitting at $96.20. So AMD did introduce two pretty cool things that I think investors should be familiarized with. On September 18th of 2023, AMD completes their fourth generation EPYC family.
Finally, I want to thank the Motley Fool for sponsoring this video, and check out fool.com/Jose for the 10 best stocks to buy now. With that link, you get a promotional offer for their subscription service. Now, let's continue with today's episode.
So for those that are not familiar, their EPYC family is AMD's CPU server CPUs. These are the ones that go into the data centers, onto big enterprise supercomputers. And this fourth generation, which is the Genoa generation, had 4 different CPUs. And they finally released the final version, which is the EPYC 8004, previously known as Bergamo. And this CPU is pretty much meant for one to be total cost of ownership efficient, right? So each CPU that they have created has their own kind of perk. Pretty much the first one, which I call their vanilla, was pretty much a balance. It had a good performance, it had great kind of TCO, it had great cache rate and stuff like that. Then they came out with others that might be more focused on performance, others might be more focused in kind of technical workloads, others might be more focused in power efficiency, and that's where this one comes along. So on September 18th, they did introduce this new server CPU. I do believe it's a very niche market, right? This is more for those companies that might have to do some form of workloads, but that workload is not performance intensive. And what they really need is to have more of a CPU that's energy efficient to kind of be able to run this with not too much of a heavy cost for the customer. So this is pretty interesting. Something we already knew was going to come out, but pretty good to finally see AMD finish with this 4th generation EPYC processor. The other news came out a day after, on September 19th, that AMD accelerates their innovation at the edge with the Kria K24 SOM, which is, I believe, a system on module. Yes, system on module. And these are kind of these small starter kits that help developers and engineer firms and all these companies kind of bring a product to the market a lot faster. So they do mention that the K24 system on module provides high determinism and low latency for powering electric drives and motor controls used in compute-intensive digital signal processing. So it's pretty much, if we take a closer look at the next slide, here we can see the system on module is kind of like a complete chip to some extent, or a complete board, where previously, like let's say you were an engineer or some form of designer, and you were trying to maybe design something to kind of control the motors in like a power generation system, in a public transportation, in something like industrial robotics, maybe medical equipment, you would have to create this board from scratch, right? So you would have to kind of create a board, do all the testing, do all the design work, and then get that board created. So what AMD does is they kind of create these boards that kind of help, that kind of provide a lot of the needed or standard tools that are needed when doing kind of motor control innovation and motor control engineering. So a design team or an engineering team can just go out and purchase this instead of wasting all that time and money. So it's pretty interesting. They kind of tell you, hey, look, it connects to multiple motors. This is good at kind of deploying to the market faster. They kind of explain it here. What is a system module? A system module integrates the core components of an embedded processing system on a single production-ready printed circuit board. The benefits is it reduces the manufacturing time and the material cost. It simplifies the product lifecycle management. It alleviates design complexity and speed development. Like I was talking, obviously that would save valuable engineering resources, and it streamlines operation flows and manages inventory costs. So I don't believe, obviously, this is a big deal at all, but it does kind of showcase how AMD continues to evolve in their embedded market. And in the embedded market is thanks to the Xilinx acquisition. These boards are, or you're able to order them right now. The commercial versions are available to be shipped right now, and the industrial versions are shipping in quarter 4 of this year. So again, nothing crazy right now. I don't believe this is something that would move the needle, but it just continues to show AMD continue to innovate in their embedded market. Next, I want to take a closer look at Nvidia. And Nvidia is my favorite semiconductor company. It's my number 1 position in my portfolio. AMD is my number 2, both multiple years of holdings. In the past 5 days, Nvidia is down roughly 2.58%. In the past month, I do believe Nvidia has taken quite a hit. It's down roughly 12%. Year to date, though, the stock is killing it, up 190%. So Nvidia did come out with a few updates. First, on September 21st of 2023, Nvidia announced that, hey, look, Microsoft is releasing their Surface Laptop Studio 2 on October of 2023. And guess what? It is going to be powered by Nvidia GPUs. It's going to be either, I think, a 4060 or, a 4060, a 4050, or an RTX 2000 Ada generation laptop. So it just continues to show that, hey, even the big players are continuing to go to NVIDIA for their GPU solutions. Next, I want to take a closer look at this blog that came out from NVIDIA. This came out on September 21st of 2023, and it says, look, run AI on your PC, question mark. G4 users are ahead of the curve. And I do believe this is a small shot at companies like AMD. And I do believe this is a small shot at companies like AMD and Intel. AMD and Intel are so excited to release their new CPUs, and their new CPUs are going to have some form of AI accelerator or some form of AI hardware. And NVIDIA is just reminding the market that, hey, look, there's no need to have those CPU accelerators or those CPU hardwares. If you are an NVIDIA user, if your laptop is running a GeForce Now GPU, if your desktop or laptop is running it, you already have AI on your fingertips, and you'll be able to accelerate a lot of those AI workloads with that. So NVIDIA just says, hey, look, we're ahead of the curve. We've been on this for a long time, even though all these CPU companies are just getting excited about that right now. So I thought that was pretty cool. Next, we also saw on September 20th that Infosys and NVIDIA team to help world's enterprise boost productivity with generative AI. So Infosys, which I'm not too familiar, but they mentioned is a global leader in next generation digital service and consulting. So it seems to be a very huge consulting company for digital services. And NVIDIA today announced that they have expanded their strategic collaboration with the aim to help enterprises worldwide drive productivity gains with generative AI applications and solutions. They do mention that through the integration, Infosys will create offerings customers can adopt to easily integrate generative AI into their businesses. And I do believe this is a good win for NVIDIA, right? Because if this is a huge consultant software firm, consulting digital service firm, now if you have their employees working with NVIDIA AI, then it's just kind of a way for NVIDIA AI to spread to all over the world, to all different types of enterprises. So I do believe this is a great move. Again, I don't believe this is going to be something that should break the needle in NVIDIA's stock price, right? NVIDIA is already sitting at $1 trillion market cap, but it's definitely a great move to continue to add those little revenue bumps here and there to continue to push the strength for this company. Infosys plans to set up an NVIDIA Center of Excellence where it will train and certify 50,000 of its employees on NVIDIA AI technologies. So I mean, I think that's also insane, right? 50,000 employees. Turnaround rate for companies is never 100, right? So employees are always leaving and finding new companies to work at. So if you're kind of informing or educating 50,000 employees, and then later on they might end up at a new job. It's also going to be kind of another way to not only spread AI to the customer market, but to other businesses as kind of these trained individuals go to other companies to work at. So I think that's pretty cool, and this one's pretty exciting. Next, if we take a closer look on September 19th, Oracle Cloud Infrastructure offers new NVIDIA GPUs. So Oracle is becoming, I want to say, a big player here in the clouding market, or it has been, but it's one that I feel not many people talk about. The NVIDIA H100 GPUs are now generally available there. The L40S GPUs are coming soon on Oracle Cloud Infrastructure, so great move there. Now, the final company I want to take a closer look at is Intel Corporation. We can see sitting at $34.18. I am really starting to enjoy Intel one way or another, but I prefer to get this at the below $30 price point. That's just my overall thoughts. Right now, stock is down roughly 9% in the past 5 days. Market cap of $143 billion. Like I mentioned, sitting at $34 at the moment. In the past month, Intel is up roughly 5%. So the big news for Intel is they did have an Innovation 2023 this past week, and they showcased a lot of great information. I want to say the most important ones that I that I found the most important are two. First is Intel did mention that they are going to release their 5th generation CPU on December 14th, and this is obviously going to continue to combat AMD in this battle of CPU server dominance. And the second thing is Intel is also releasing their on December 14th. They're also going to release their Meteor Lake CPU. The Meteor Lake is going to be more of a consumer CPU, and this one is one that's going to include that AI hardware, the AI acceleration tool. So pretty interesting there. The only other thing I want to talk about Intel is Intel did mention that they have a big customer that's going to purchase roughly 4,000 Gaudi 2 accelerators. I do believe that's a great move, and it kind of showcases the strength of Intel and their Gaudi 2 system. So pretty exciting news for all big players. I do believe right now the market is just kind of correcting a lot of the strength that they got earlier this month. I mean, this year. This year is turning out to be a great year for investors, especially semiconductor investors. So it does seem like things are cooling down a bit. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's episode. Like I mentioned, for me, if I was looking to buy any, I do enjoy AMD at these price points. I wouldn't mind buying AMD. Nvidia, obviously, like many believe, I do believe it's kind of overvalued at its current price for the best price to reward ratio, in my opinion. I'm not selling my shares, but I'm personally not buying Intel just because I do have that exposure on AMD and Nvidia. I don't mind holding off until this one till I get a better buying opportunity if it ever falls back below $30. And the semiconductor market always tends to give us opportunity. So take care, have a good day, and see you next time.